What's up, everybody? How are we doing? As we can see, I am back home in the little studio with myself and Brantendo. Now, Khamzat Chimaev is a name that everybody is now aware of. It's a name on the tip of everybody's tongues. If you are a fan of mixed martial arts, you know the name Khamzat Chimaev. But I think it's safe to say a year ago, 18 months ago, nobody had heard of him. But this guy is slowly taking over this sport, right? The numbers that this guy generates, the attention that he grabs really is mind-blowing. And of course, last time we saw him up against Li Jingliang, dominating him, embarrassing him, you might say. But now he's going after someone new. Now he's going after Colby Covington, the guy that just gave the champ, the pound-for-pound #1 in Kamaru Usman, a tough fight. In fact, some people even thought that Colby won that fight. I don't. I thought it was a clear win for Kamaru Usman. But now, Khamzat Chimaev is threatening to murder Colby Covington. He's threatening to send him to his grave, to his coffin. They're going back and forth, so we're going to break it all down. But before I do, I want to tell you about rockauto.com. If you are into cars and you are looking for car parts, you got to go to rockauto.com. They've been in business for 20 years. And listen, if you're working under the hood of your car and you need the parts, you want to go to rockauto.com because they have the best prices. We're not going to give you a code because the prices are already that competitive. But listen, they have everything that you need. So whatever you need, go to rockauto.com to find the parts that you need at the best possible prices. If you want to click the link down below, that's going to take you directly to their website. Tell them that Michael Bisping sent you. But once more, remember, if you're a car guy or a car girl and you're working on your car, rockauto.com is the place to go for the cheapest car parts that you need. Now, Khamzat Chimaev, okay, as I said, he's coming to the UFC. He's 4-0. He's dominated everybody. Nobody's really giving him a fight. He went out there against Li Jingliang. I've spoke about this at length, so I'm not gonna recap for too long. But I am back here in America. I was just in England for a week. I had a lovely time visiting family. Lots to talk about there, but I'm not going to bore you with the details. I may or may not be about, I'd say, 8 pounds heavier. My diet has consisted of beige foods. I've been on pork pies, steak pies, fish and chips, fries to you guys, fish and fries, but fish and chips. What else have I had? A lot of beer, a lot of wine. People talk shit about British people's teeth. I think I have pretty good teeth for an Englishman, but however, they are fake. Now, on top of that, I lost 3 teeth while I was in America, much to the stereotype that British people have terrible teeth. I was having a piece of British candy, a curly whirly, very, very chewy toffee. I was chewing that and I lost a bridge. 3 teeth. I'm not going to show you the inside of my mouth. It's very nice, it's very clean, but still, you don't want to see that on YouTube. But still, I thought you'd get a kick out of it, all you Americans that say that British have terrible diets and terrible teeth. Well, I was home for a week and I lost 3 teeth. Anyway, there you go. I'm back and we're going to be consistent with uploads every single day with the best videos in the game, thanks to Brantendo. And I give a little bit of analysis as well. So there you go. Anyway, Khamzat Chimaev just destroyed Li Jingliang. Made him look kind of stupid. You know, he did. He picked him up in the air. He had a conversation with Dana White, slammed him down. He's on a fast track, okay? Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal are not fighting because Masvidal got injured. Khamzat was trying to jump in there. Leon is holding his ground and he's going to fight for the belt. So Khamzat is looking for an opponent. Now, in the meantime, he's staying busy. He's out there calling out everybody. He's calling out George St. Pierre. He's calling out Daniel Cormier. He's grappling Jack Hermanson, beating Jack Hermanson in grappling matches in his spare time. You know, so Khamzat Chimaev really is somebody that you need to take seriously. He's somebody that, you know, garners attention for the right reasons. Knockout power, great jiu-jitsu, strong wrestling, and the man is a psychopath. Simple as that. He's a psychopath, but that's what I love. I don't want, when I'm watching people fight in a cage for a living, I don't care if they're psychotic. I don't care if they have a screw loose. I don't care if they're a little bit, you know, mental. And I think he might be, okay? But that's what I want because he's crazy. Now, let's talk about this. Khamzat Chimaev is right now without an opponent. And of course, he's called out because Khamzat was the toughest opponents out there. He also wants to fast track to the title. So he calls out Colby Covington. Now, Colby Covington, as I just said, fought Kamaru recently. And that's a great call out, right? But Colby Covington came back and said, he said, if you want to rush this guy and take some time off of his life, then yeah, I'm open to that door. Okay, so he went out there, Colby Covington, basically saying that he's open to fighting Khamzat Chimaev. Okay, now, I don't know if that's smart for Colby Covington. I'm not saying that he couldn't beat Khamzat, although If you ask me right now who wins, I'd probably say Khamzat. I don't know why. It's just, I did just see him throw everyone around like a rag doll. There is levels to the game. But for Khamzat, that's such a great fight, because if he passes that test, then one would assume that he would be next in line for a title fight. For Colby Covington, kind of a dangerous fight, because he just came off losing to Kamaru Usman, and now he's going to take on the guy with all the hype, right? But not the proven entity. You know what I'm saying? So if he loses to Khamzat, then and Khamzat doesn't pan out to be as great as what he proclaims, then that's potentially a dangerous scenario for Colby Covington. However, Colby Covington did come round and say, listen, I'd be open to that. As I said, what was the line? If you want to rush this guy and take some time off his life, then yeah, I'm open for that. Okay, by the way, in the meantime, Khamzat is calling out Daniel Cormier. He's calling out George St. Pierre. He's calling out Brock Lesnar in a fight to the death. Okay, not many people are doing that right now. I'll be honest, I'm not a pussy. I don't think I'd be calling out Brock Lesnar for a fight to the death. Okay, I wouldn't. But Khamzat has responded in kind to Colby Covington. He said, let's go, bitch. With me, you're Colby Covington, I will take your heart. And he's put a heart and then 3 emojis and then a coughing sign. So he's threatening to kill him. This is, call the cops, I'm coming for you. And you'll see that my Khamzat Chimaev impression has changed a little bit, because brother, before it sounded more like Khabib, and even now it sounds a little weird because maybe I've been in England too long, but brother, trust me, it was more like that, but I just watched it and it's more like that. Got the gaps. I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't sound like that anyway. But then he also said this to Colby Covington, which is a good line, because we know Colby Covington is a very, very proud American, right? He walks in with the American flag. He talks about politics all the time. He's a big Trump supporter. He's a very, very proud American, and rightly so. And he says, you do not represent USA. I represent USA. You represent cowardice. Okay? So, I mean, we know what Khamzat's doing here. He's trying to get a fight against Colby Covington. And I got to say, I think he's going the right way around it, or about it, because that there, I mean, Colby's the troll, isn't he? Colby's the guy that goes out there and winds everybody up. He says the outlandish remarks. He pokes the bear. He says things that shouldn't be said, you know. But Colby, as I said, is a very, very proud American, you know, and he takes that seriously. And he's gone out there and said, you don't represent USA, you represent cowardice, you know. So for Khamzat Chimaev, I mean, that is a stroke of genius. We are yet to see what Colby responds with. But after that, after already saying in the previous tweet that he was open to fighting Khamzat, but it was too much of a rush, and listen, he said he was a hype job. He said that the media created Khamzat. He said, but if you want to rush him, if you want to send him to the hospital, then I'm open for that. Well, that's what he was saying. But now he's saying that you represent cowardice and you don't represent America. I'm telling you, Khamzat, in my opinion, I think it's not going to be long before we see an announcement from the UFC between Colby Covington and Khamzat Chimaev. And I can't wait for it. I mean, what a fight that would be. But call me crazy. Call me on the hype train. Call me maybe still hungover from England, or maybe I've been hit too many times in the head. But I think that's a fight that Khamzat Chimaev would win. The dominance that we've seen from him, it's hard to argue otherwise. Of course, there's levels to the game. Of course, Colby's fighting nothing but the best. Colby's just fought the best pound for pound guy on the planet 2 times in a row. Prior to that, he's dominated most people. You know, so whereas Khamzat just beat Li Jingliang, and then he beat Gerald Meerschaert, and then, you know, it was John Phillips and Reece McKee. There's differences there, okay? But still, it's the way that Khamzat did it, and it's the confidence that he has. As I said, he just fought, or grappled, should I say, Jack Hermansson in a grappling fight. Jack Hermansson is a big 185er. Jack Hermansson is a grappler. And at 170, Khamzat Chimaev just went out there and beat him. You know, dominated the wrestling, didn't get a submission, but won and held position for most of that time. Of course, we've seen knockout power. We've seen the confidence that he has. And we saw what he did to Li Jingliang. Okay, so when you look at that, the dominance that he had there against lower level people, against the... It's hard to say, because Colby's been very dominant as well. Look at what Colby did to Robbie Lawler. Look what he did to Rafael dos Anjos. Look what he did to a lot of people. Colby Covington's really good. Right, it's a fight that I'm excited for. I want to see this fight. And if I'm the UFC matchmaker, which I'm clearly not, but if I was, I'd sign this up. I would make this fight. I mean, that is a co-main event on any pay-per-view, and I think it would do tremendous numbers. And a lot to gain on both sides. For Khamzat Chimaev, for him, that's him saying, look, I've just beaten the #1 contender. I am the next guy. I am the man to challenge Kamaru Usman. And what a rise to a title challenger that would be. And for Colby Covington, that's him also saying, hey, listen, I'm still the next best in the division. I don't think he gets a fight against Kamaru Usman anytime soon. He'd have to go and fight 2-3 times. 3-4 times, who knows? But that's a way of him establishing dominance. Sometimes, unfortunately, you've just got to accept that you're the next best guy in the division. Now, he's not the next best by a long shot, but when you lose 2 in a row, having that third fight is going to be hard to achieve. So you got to go out there. But still, being the second best guy in the division to the pound for pound #1 on the planet, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? And in the meantime, Khamzat Chimaev can go and grapple DC, he can grapple Daniel Cormier, George St. Pierre, Jack Hermanson, whatever, until this fight gets made. But I think this fight's going to get made, and I cannot wait for it, because if you saw that press conference in New York between Covington and Kamaru Usman, can you imagine a press conference between Khamzat Chimaev and Colby Covington? I'm already getting excited just from a couple of tweets. Could you imagine the pair of them in person? Their security would have their work cut out, because Khamzat is a psycho. Remember what he said after that post-fight speech? I'm going to kill everyone.
Who would you like to see next when you step into the octagon?
Everybody. I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ.
And he's screaming. I mean, the man looked like a nutcase. I love the way he fights. I love everything about him. I love the confidence from Colby Covington. I love the UFC. Sign this fight. Let's go. Do me a favour, subscribe, ring the bell. I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Thanks for watching and take care.